Okay, so we're going to start drawing your tool bit. Now the tool bit, according to the paper tutorial, is a 5/16 of an inch square extruded piece of 3 inches long. So we go to extrude, and we pick the plane to draw on, and we're going to make a rectangle. Go to your pick, and you'll see that there's two different dimensions, and they're fairly large. We're going to make them equal. Just pick the two sides, now they're equal. And now I want to pick this dimension and change it to 5/16. You could either type in 5/16 or do the decimal equivalent. I'm typing in 5/16 and it gives you the decimal equivalent. If when you zoom in, when you say your refit over here, if the dimension's way up there, that's a bug in this software. Just bring it down closer and hit refit again. Okay? It's a little nicer if it's closer. Okay? And as you can see, you have that. You hit OK, and it's only going to be 313 long, which is 5/16. It chose that as the default. Double click, put 3 in there, and you have a 3-inch long piece of stock. Now we're going to cut a 60-degree cutting tool on this. So first thing you can do is you can hide these planes. You got it? You have to use control. You should be aware of that by now, any multiple picks. And we're going to do a remove material from the top surface. Any surface will do. And you notice this dotted line, that is a reference to snap to. We need a couple of more. We're going to draw it on this side. So we go over here to the references, pick the front line, and now we have all the references we need. Go to the line and just draw right to approximately the middle. You can see the dotted line come up, means they're lined up, which is great. And all we have to do is hit the middle button and it's escaped. I like to use equal on a lot of things. Makes life a lot easier. So I make these two equal. And now it has an angle in between. So we're going to pick that and change it to 60. There we go. And say done or OK. And you can see the orange is what it cuts out. It's not deep enough, first of all. So you could pull it deeper. Or you could say through all. It's your choice. And it's cutting the wrong direction. So just flip the arrow and now it's proper. Okay? The orange is showing what it's removing. And then that's done. Now this won't be a good cutting tool because it has a vertical side. We need relief angles on it. Each side. I chose 15 degrees for this exercise, which is fine. And we need datum planes to sketch on. So we are going to draw or create a datum plane 15 degrees off from these perpendicular sides. You go datum plane, and I'm going to pick this edge. And you can see it's through the edge. Now, using control, I usually pick the top surface because it's more consistent. And just as a note, you won't see on this video the pop-up menu, but what it says is the edge is through and the surface for the top surface says offset, and the angle is at 100 degrees right now, just the last thing that was used. Change the offset to normal and you'll see what happens. See it? It came normal to the surface that you picked. So you don't want that. You want it to be offset. And you want it to be, you have to choose either 15 degrees or 75 in order to get what you want. This is 75 and it gives you a 15 degree from the front. That's what we want. So it's either going to be one or two of those angles. And done. Now it's highlighted in green, so we can pick another plane to create. So it's going to be referencing this plane, and we use control and the same edge. And now we change the offset in the pull down menu to normal, and you'll have a plane 90 degrees from the first one we created. That's all we need. So you can pick this top plane to create your cut on. We're going to cut the angle. So we go to extrude, and it didn't allow me to hit remove material. It's annoying, but it's okay. So we're going to hit a line. This already has a reference. Just make a line longer than you need and say OK. And it's cutting up. Go to remove material, and we're going to go into the piece, and it cuts it the wrong way. So you flip this, and now you'll see it removes 15-degree angle off of that piece. Say done. All right, so that's the first angle. The top is always going to be top. Now we are going to hide these two planes over here in the model tree, and we're going to make a couple more planes on the other edge. So all we need to do is hit planes, hit that edge, pick the top, and it's just where we want it. It's perfect. So you say OK. Now we do plane again, pick the edge, and change the offset to normal. There. Now we have that. So we highlight that. We can do another remove material. It's still highlighted and referenced what we want. Do a line longer than we need. Do that. And you can see it's up and in. Say remove material. Flip it into the piece and flip it out of the piece, and it'll remove that little wedge. There you have two angles at 15 degrees. So when the surface that you're cutting hits this edge, it'll have clearance like a knife. It'll get into the surface real nice. Now the more difficult one to do is this top relief angle, chip relief, and we'll explain why that's necessary later. So we're going to hide these two planes and make a couple more. I'm going to do the edge again. We're going to take the top plane again, and this time we have to go in the positive direction. We'll go 100 degrees, and that'll give us 10 degrees into the part. Does that make sense? Okay. Say OK. Now we're going to do another plane, normal to this one. So we pick the same edge again, change the offset to normal, say OK. Now we have normal planes. We're doing great. So we want to draw on this plane. That's going to be our sketching plane now. So we pick this sketching plane. And you'll see it may come up with a little bit of an error, and I'll show you how to get around that. So we say, see how it flipped upside down? That's really annoying. So what you can do is go over here to the sketch setup and flip it. And that's a little better. We flipped it around. It's still upside down, but that's okay. This is the edge we want to use right there. So yeah, that's going to be the cutting edge, and we need to have that as a reference. So we'll say sketch, go to references, pick that edge for a reference, and also pick this edge for a reference. Reason being is we want to stop there. So we need to make a slanted rectangle. You can start right from here, that vertex where the two things work together, and then just make a rectangle, bigger than you need. Say done, remove material. You'll have to flip arrows again. There, see? It cut a 15-degree angle off of the top. There, that's that part. Now it's a little unrealistic, and you'll understand this at a later date. This sharp corner is not realistic. We're going to be grinding this with a hand grinder, and it has about a 30 thousandths radius on the wheel. So let's make it look good. We'll say round, and we're going to change this to 30 thousandths of an inch, and pick this edge right there. Now it looks more realistic, because that's what it's actually going to look like when you grind it. Now, this is really to a sharp edge too. We don't want a sharp edge on a tool. It makes the tool brittle. It can't really handle it. We want a radius to give you a lot of reasons. So we go with another round, but this time we're going to do it about 5 thousandths of an inch. And just pick the front. And there you go. This tool is completely done. If you shut off what planes are there, and the coordinate system, and the spin center if you like, and we can even change the colors now, make it look better. You go to View, Appearances, pull down, just pick any color and pick with control all the sides that you did not grind or did not remove material from. How's that? And say OK. And you can change that color. You pick that and you go to Edit Model Appearances, pick this little square, and you can change the colors whatever you want. I just did it as a darker material. How's that? Look good? I think so. So that's how you do datum planes. They're very important for drawing and creating parts. And it's really easy to do if you have a couple of references to do it by. In this we used edges and plane and surfaces to make these. And you got to think a little bit and you hide what you don't want to see. You can hide everything in there. And it's relatively easy to do. Okay? And that concludes this.